Hello, everybody. I want to talk about the transatlantic slavery story that they told us starting in middle school. And they told us that we were slaves and, you know, we came over here in the bottom of a slave ship and we was primitive type people and they civilized us and, you know, as though we owed them something, you know, because they claim they civilized us, but now we finding out it was the other way around, you know. But this is what they told us: we was naked, swinging from trees, and they civilized us and turned us into human beings, you know. And we finding out it's nothing but a bald-faced lie. And I'm sorry, I'm driving too. And the story that they told us, and one thing I don't understand is how, unless I don't know how the scholars, these so-called scholars, couldn't figure this shit out. We got many people in the healthcare field that could have looked at this story that they told us and said, no, that couldn't have happened. But nobody said anything about this story and critiqued this story and say, no, something is off about this story. Because, listen, they told us that we came over here on the bottom of a boat. They didn't tell us it was a 3-month journey. We thinking that it was a couple-day journey. You know, it was a 3 to 4 month journey. And they say they had us packed like sardines. We didn't move for 3 months, but now they saying that they let some of us come up and they rotated us out, whatever. So they claiming they had us packed like sardines in the bottom of a boat. So we pissing and we defecating on each other. Okay. A 3-month journey. And let me tell you, I used to be into Pan-Africanism. And I remember I would be looking at videos on YouTube, and there was a guy on YouTube. His name is Kerry Davis. African Americans ain't African. That's his web page. But anyway, I kept seeing this man pop up talking about black Americans is not Africans. And I was like, this man is crazy. And I kept saying that he was crazy. So me being in the healthcare field, this woman came in the facility. And she fell at home and she couldn't get up. And what had happened is, when she fell, she defecated on herself, meaning she had a bowel movement. And she had to sit there for 3 days. After the 3rd day, somebody found her. And she had an unstageable pressure ulcer, meaning that it went through the epidermis, the dermis, and the hypodermis. You can actually turn on her side, look at her buttocks, and you can see her sacrum. You could see it. That's how bad it was. But you're going to tell us that we were laid out on wood, no cushion, not being rotated from side to side. Because, see, when people don't move, when you're in the healthcare field, you rotate them every 2 hours just for circulation, so the blood can circulate. You cannot keep a person in one spot for 24 hours, for 4, 5, 6 hours. You can't do that. So the story that they're saying do not make any sense. And this woman had an unstageable pressure ulcer, meaning that sometimes it's so hard to heal them pressure ulcers. Sometimes they can't even be healed. And we accepted this story, not to even think about how they said. See, it had to been somebody, whoever came up with this story, couldn't have been in the medical field. Okay, then you claim that it was not enough oxygen down there that you couldn't even light a match. So how was these people breathing? And not to mention they pissing and defecating on each other. So just imagine the smell. Then your heart, the cardiovascular system, your heart. Okay, your heart pump blood. That's how circulation. That's how blood get through your veins, through the heart. So my thing is, if you was laid in one spot and you did not move, okay, how is it that this blood was circulating properly? Because see, your heart, it pumps blood through your body. But that's why you move around, because that's what helps the circulation. So you're telling us that the cardiovascular system was compromised, the respiratory system was compromised, and the skin system was compromised. And we don't think that it's a problem with that story? Then it wasn't a motor. This is the Atlantic Ocean, where even the Navy SEALs cannot even cross it. It's just that bad. They still have a tough time to this day crossing the Atlantic Ocean, because it's a stormy ocean. It's a very stormy ocean. So my thing is, how did you all cook all this food for them 300 to 400 slaves? That's what I want to know. How did you, by the Atlantic Ocean being a salt lake, okay, how did you supply water for 3 months? See, all of this needs to be explained. And see, this is what people do, these so-called Pan-African people. What they do is they get on the airplane, go to Africa, show us where they kept the slaves before the slaves came to America. But none of you ain't never took that journey. See, when you talking to me makes sense, because you ain't never took that journey on that boat like they claiming our ancestors did, but you want us to believe the story and not question it. First of all, infection would have set up right away, because they would have had pressure ulcers all over their body. Okay, you had no antibiotics to cure the infection. Okay, they was probably eating shit, so they probably had E. coli. All of these is deadly if they're not treated. But you're going to tell me that these black people, they wouldn't have survived 2 weeks in that boat like that. They wouldn't have survived 2 weeks. And you telling me about 7 to 8 white men took care of these 300 to 400 slaves and fed them every day. And we actually believe that story. And see, I understand why black people nowadays is homeschooling their kids, because you have to do that. You have to do that, because what this public school system do is rape you. Rape you of your confidence. It rapes you of a lot of stuff. And it puts you in a box and make you feel as though you can only go to a certain level. And you don't even understand they do that because this is your shit. All of this is yours. And now that they know that we know the truth now, the ones that is awakened, now that they know that, they quiet. White folks is quiet. See, at first I was a Christian. Then I got into Pan-Africanism. Now I'm just studying me. I'm just studying myself. Because if you don't look within to find yourself, all I want to know is truth. I don't care about no money. I want to know truth. I want to see melanated people free. And we have to free our mind. We have to free our mind. This is what, when people sit up and they talk about reparations, why would you want, okay, this is my thing. That's why I don't get off into it, because my thing is, why would you want reparations and they giving you a processed tree? They giving you monopoly money. Why wouldn't you want the whole motherfucking land because it's yours? And I'm not saying all Pan African people is agents, but a lot of them is. Because that's what you sticking to, and you mean to tell me that story don't sound fishy to you? Something is wrong with you. And see, a lot of black folks look at the melanated women of today. But I have worked in nursing homes. I have seen black women looking just like them Indians on the picture. And some of them, because a lot of Aboriginal melanated women that was powerful, that knew the secrets, they killed all them off. But if you come here, if you, like me, I have talked to them. And you ask them, and they could be 100 years old, whatever, and ask them, was your grandmother a slave? One woman gonna tell me, nobody in my family was a slave. She said, we own 100 acres of land. This is what this woman told me. She don't own nothing now. She said, no, nobody in my family was a slave. Some of them be light-skinned, some of them be black. Beautiful black women. And they still, a lot of them still be in their right mind, but it's a very small percentage of them. Because what they tried to do is break you down to the lowest denominator. And the reason why they did that, because us here in America, we are the most powerful. Everybody keep talking about they waiting for the Americans to rise up. Don't worry, it's coming. It's coming. But the way you imagine it, it's going to be more powerful than that. They ain't ready for what we got for them. They not ready for it. So the transatlantic story that what they told to you was a flat out lie. Was a flat out lie. And I keep saying this, be careful of these black scholars, all these people telling you all this crazy stuff. We want to fight for reparations, but we don't want the whole damn land back. That don't make any sense to me. That don't make any sense to me. You want them to give you processed money that they took from a tree that's a part of the earth, but you don't want the whole damn earth back. So, and the thing, the problem with this, a lot of us is too damn comfortable. A lot of us don't want to admit that we in war. You can turn on the TV and they can have a camera of a young black man that's 15, 16, 17, and the police blow his brains out. And we then became so immune to it that we look at it and say, oh God, I hope that ain't me. We don't have anything to say. And don't understand that they killing powerful children. And see, they want you to see this to keep that fear going on.